Nightcrawler 2014. Jake Gyllenhaal. Movie deep dive coming up next. What do you guys have to say about this movie before we really dive into it? Why do we love it?
I didn't see it in the theater to start, but it is a movie that I caught on demand or DVD, whatever it is, and since then it is a movie that I will regularly bring back into the rotation. It's probably not a movie that I will pick up midway through, like if it's on Showtime or something like that, but it's a movie that I will come back to over and over because it's so engaging. The performances, the writing, the direction, the cinematography is outstanding. There's a lot to love about this movie. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with pretty much a lot of things he said. One of the main things that brings me to this is just, Jake Gyllenhaal, the way, like, his character development and just the way that he is, just, his character is so memorable that, it's easy to come back to this movie just to watch his performance. And there's many other good performances in this movie. That's just one of the ones that really sticks out, that you're just like, it's a really just great roller coaster with him when you watch this movie, and that's what really brings me back, And with like he was saying, the writing, the shooting, the music. I mean, there's so many great things about this movie.
The score is great.
The score is outstanding.
You made a good point about if you catch it halfway through, you're not as inclined to watch it as in most of the movies we do and that we love. There's points where if you catch Shawshank before the escape, right? If you catch any of our favorite movies at a certain point,
you can watch The Dark Knight at any point till the end.
Right. Yeah.
Where this movie
we've covered. Watch our Dark Knight review.
Yeah, right. You'll understand.
This movie is about the building blocks of the character, right? The evolution of the character.
It's a true character study.
The moving of the plot, and you need to kind of watch it from the beginning. And I totally feel what you're saying, because some of these movies, when I'm doing the research, I'd be like, okay, this part I have some questions about. I need to find an answer for this category, whatever. I'll zoom into this point. Every time I rewatch that for the research for this, I started from the beginning, even though I know the first 4 scenes so well because they're very memorable.
Well, you mentioned it earlier off camera. You were saying that there's 3 true acts in this movie, and there are. But if you miss that first third, you miss a large part of who Louis Bloom is.
Yeah, the character development. And, you lose a huge part of that.
Yeah, because this is a true character study, and without it, you're left with a partial movie, right? Dan Gilroy has put together something that is really incredible, in that this is a 2-hour movie that feels like 40 minutes. It goes by so fast.
I had a hard time picking a pee scene. It was like pee break scene.
There's so much subtle stuff, and it starts from the very beginning, right? That builds to the point of they're not telling you, they're almost not even showing you unless you're really paying attention. And I'm gonna just go to the first scene real quick, and the watch, right? The security guard where he's cutting the fence and stealing the fence.
He's
wearing that watch in the last scene. It's a nice watch. He sees it before he jumps him. Whether he's kind of jumping him for self-preservation at that point. But he robs him. Question: did he kill the cop?
No. And that's
no. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah. But
I'm going to say this: he did not have the fence in the back of his car when the cop comes. So after he did whatever he did to the cop, whether he messed it up enough to where he could still cut the fence, we don't know. And there's also the illegal cable hookup,
right?
Which is super subtle when they show the dish, and you're like, why are they showing this dish? Because the movie does show.
Why does it linger on that connection?
Yes,
right, and just in general,
and there's always a reason for that.
It's the backdrop of LA they're trying to show, and there's a lot of backdrop stuff in this because it's an LA movie, and it's then you see just the little extra cable running into his apartment. And it's that's such a beautiful way to explain who Louis Bloom is.
Correct.
And he's a cockroach. He's a survivor, and he's going to just do whatever he has to do.
Or a coyote, if you will.
Coyote is actually better because they do show the coyotes howling. And he is
early into the research, they were thinking of making the movie called Coyote instead of Nightcrawler.
Right.
Because and then he even said he wanted to give that portrayal of looking that's why he was so skinny and just so not needy, but just wanted and needed to make things happen for him to get money.
Have you guys seen Collateral? Tom Cruise?
No.
I've seen it probably when it came out.
That's another movie that has the coyote metaphor.
Sure. Okay.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
That I caught.
Have 2 good actors. I was hoping to be good.
They show his closet in the first scene.
Right.
And it's 6 shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he's always ironing his shirts. Like he has nothing, right? But he aspires to be huge. But it's like
that's why he lets the cops in. He's just like, yeah, I don't come on in, and they're just like they look at his bed, his TV, and his recording stuff, and it's like, okay,
should be a red flag, right?
Right.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Let's just talk about the man for a minute. Because it's
steals the
I'm
movie.
not gonna quite say it's a Will Smith I Am Legend type thing because that is literally just one person for the whole movie.
Castaway as well. I mean,
Rene Russo is amazing in this movie, and there's a lot of good performances.
Right.
There's a couple, but he really carries this movie. Unlike many others, again, I Am Legend's different, but like I can't think of many other movies that are carried.
I think these are. I think this is sort of the thrry movies because you're right. I mean, honestly, you'll see for a lot of my stuff. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal just steals this movie. I mean, like that's what I was saying. What drives me to this movie.
He didn't get nominated for this, did he?
No,
Probably not.
he's one of 8 actors. He got all the other like worldly awards, and he was the only. And he's
Like
one of
Golden
8.
Globes. And
Yes, all that stuff. He won all of those. Because I think there was like
even get nominated.
not even nominated. He was one of 8 actors to win all those other awards and not even get nominated for an Academy Award. It's absolutely absurd.
What I love about Jake is like taking a role like this, and he lost the weight. Like I know that's a lot of actors do that. Christian Bale.
Yeah, of course. He's not the only one, but still.
It's not. It wasn't a fanfare movie. It wasn't a big payday. It was more of a passion project and like a challenge, and Edward Norton did this early in his career too.
Oh yeah.
And the greats, they do these things and they want to make art. And like this movie is a definition of art in terms of acting.
Yes.
That I can think of. And like you go down the list of his movies he's done, starting with Donnie Darko, which is
great
movie. That's not the start of his career, but
no, but that was his biggest hit.
Hits.
Yeah.
That's a cult classic, and that was a
great movie.
Weird movie. That,
super weird.
I love. And it grows on you, and a lot of people hate it.
It's a cult following. It's a cult following, meaning of a cult following movie.
That's like obviously. I think he got his big start in Day After Tomorrow.
Correct.
Where he's like 24 playing it.
His 16-year-old.
Blood poisoning is.
Yeah, right.
Where do you put Jake Gyllenhaal in the pantheon of actors, though? Because I feel like he's criminally underrated.
I think he would be like in between B+ to A-, like if not even closer, maybe even like I think something right in there.
Story.
Yeah. Definitely an A-.
Yeah, I was
Prisoners?
Yes, that he's amazing in that.
That movie is
difficult to watch. Source Code?
Yes.
I have not seen that, but End of Watch, he's amazing.
There's our good friend Maggie Gyllenhaal again.
No, that's not.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's Vera Farmiga.
And it's also the girl from The Hangover and whatever.
Have you guys seen End of Watch?
No, that's the ambulance one.
They are police in L.A.
Oh,
like in like
what's
like
the recent one?
It's called Ambulance. It's called Ambulance.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Have you ever seen a Gyllenhaal performance you didn't like?
No.
Yeah, I mean to be honest, and that's
like what was his early stuff?
I would say the remake of Roadhouse I didn't like.
Okay,
but he looked great in it.
I didn't mind. I honestly didn't mind it.
That wasn't him. though.
No, but I'm just saying I didn't mind it because when I watched it, it wasn't an exact carbon copy. I mean, obviously the main part of it, it's like going down there to help a bar. He's just whatever. Like the main storyline was sort of alike. It was just like what was the movie that I just watched that was the same thing?
And neither of you guys have seen Brokeback yet. So.
No, not yet. I gotta get around to it. Like I just haven't.
I guess I'm gonna have to go over that. I guess I gotta climb that mountain. I guess I have to climb that mountain, if you will.
You guys love Heath
How
Ledger.
long is it?
2 hours.
I'm not opposed to that.
I guess I gotta climb that mountain, if you will.
This is literally just two people, and they're both the two best actors of the generation.
I watched Grandma's Boy after our last recording,
man.
so
and
it's great.
Okay,
I mean it's fine.
No,
it's funny.
It's stupid. It's super stupid, but it is hilarious. Yeah. It's
anyway,
hard.
Back to Gyllenhaal though.
He's no. I honestly, to answer your question, no.
Yeah.
I almost put him in A+.
Okay.
Because I feel like he has the physical element of good looks, right?
He is rangy.
He could be a leading man.
Mm-hmm.
He can also be a great character
That's
actor.
True.
He takes
big range.
He takes big risks. He plays different characters. He's not afraid to try something new and take shots.
He's still young. He's in his 40s. He's got a long career left.
And if you ever watch interviews, dude, he is very articulate. He is very engaging, and he's very into his work. Like
he's not a method actor all the way, but he's close. I mean, he's to your point. He's on that line of wanting to be, like you said, he's in it for the art, and we can really appreciate that as film.
They haven't taken him as seriously based on his looks and some of his early performances and choices. But if you look at the totality of what he's done,
because he's gotten a little more buffer over time. So to your point, like
he's not a. It's unfortunate and it doesn't make sense, but he's not like a star draw.
No,
right? Like he's not a 30.
And it's also he's never done a superhero movie, right? He didn't. And he also,
and I bet he probably never will.
He doesn't have his Jason Bourne like Matt Damon. He doesn't do those. No. Want to know why? Because he cares about the
That's
art.
what I'm saying. No, I bet he never will.
I like that. Like I respect the fact that he's taking a movie like Nightcrawler when Matt Damon. I love Matt Damon. Matt Damon's one of my favorites. Is doing the Bourne franchise.
Right, but I mean,
difference?
But I'm saying, well, and to your point, this and Prisoners. I mean, the darkness of these movies. That and the amazingness that of the performance that he gives in those, you know what I mean?
The darkness of his performance.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
He's choosing movies that they tell stories and they
Correct.
evoke emotion, right? They're evocative. They make you think and feel. And The Martian's a great movie, but the most thing you hope for, like the most thing you feel is like hope that they get Mark Watney back home.
Let's not show The Martian here. Okay? I love The Martian.
I love The Martian. That's a movie that I'll throw on at any point.
I love The Martian.
You're
in. If you try The Martian, you're in, right?
But what do you feel from The Martian other than
hunger?
Okay, yes.
Hunger,
thirsty,
loneliness.
I want oxygen.
Sleepy.
Yeah. Okay, craziest characters in movie history. I'll give you a second to think about this one. I'll give you my 3. I mean, there's a million. And I think that this.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said TV or movie history?
Movie history.
Okay, movie history. And you said craziest characters?
Yeah, just like literally, like not like most evil, but craziest, like undiagnosed,
unhinged.
Like yes. And I'm gonna put him in this category, just because this guy is batshit crazy. But I have a couple other ones. And this first one might be funny to you, but is Gary Busey in any movie?
I'm gonna second. I'll second that for you.
I guess you can.
How about Gary Busey in real life?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I will second that.
But in all seriousness, Edward Norton in Primal Fear.
Yep, that was just on the other day.
Kevin Spacey in Seven. I feel like our
who's the guy in Orange is a new what's it?
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, no, Clock. What's it? What's the?
Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange. Who was
McDowell.
That guy? That guy is. Yeah, that dude is a meaning of.
People will put the guy from No Country for Old Men.
He's the closest.
More just like evil.
But I'm saying psychologically, he is known as the most accurate to a serial killer.
Right,
like,
psychopath.
Correct.
But
I feel like Gyllenhaal's crazier in this movie.
I brought it up earlier, and I brought it up in our Top Villains podcast. I think Rosamund Pike's character in Gone Girl.
Yep.
She's up there.
Yeah.
Well, what makes Gyllenhaal's character in this and also Rosamund Pike's is they're hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
We're like Anti-Segura's now hiding in plain sight. He's carrying around, like,
yes.
To kill cow.
No, and the thing is, when he enters any room, the immediate, like, the whole aura of everything just changes. It just goes dark.
And clearly, Kevin Spacey in Seven is kind of hiding in plain sight for the whole time.
Correct.
In his notebooks, he's like talking about I was in the train today, like hiding in plain sight. Where some the crazier ones, they can't hide him. They literally can't hide. Who else could have played this role? I know we're not quite the recasting couch, but give me a couple names. I'll give you mine first while you guys think. I have a couple. Joaquin Phoenix.
Insomnia, thank you.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a good one.
So the interesting thing about that is Joaquin Phoenix probably would have gotten nominated for Best Actor because he's a bigger name than Jake Gyllenhaal.
And that's bullshit because I'm sorry, Gyllenhaal's better than Phoenix.
Yeah, I can see that.
I agree with that. I don't think
he's good. He's just
I like Phoenix, but
legendary performances.
Yes, but as an actor overall, everything Gyllenhaal's got him. Yeah.
And Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Come on, man. I know Ray, you'd like that.
You
Glenn
bitch!
This, right?
Seize the cab, you bitch!
You think Glenn could play this?
Well, yeah, If he just if he just actually took what he thought and said and just put it into action, there you go.
Do you think anyone else could play this? Like
2004 could have been Christian Bale.
That's literally
not crazy.
Yeah,
man.
He could do crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I have Christian Bale on here as well. I think he could do that. I said Bill Skarsgård. I think potentially he'd be able to do that.
I think you're right. I think that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
100%.
And I said, and that's why I wanted to ask the Insomnia. Robin Williams in that movie, he I don't know, I think Robin Williams, a younger Robin Williams would be able to do this. I'm not even saying like Jake Gyllenhaal, maybe a little older, like if Robin Williams was like 35 to 40. But I think, like, Robin Williams I think I don't know, like he has this like craziness that he can do that I think potentially he might be able to be an interesting take.
I know
on
you
that.
don't watch new movies, but did you see Nosferatu? Mm-hmm. Skarsgård, man.
Oh, he's amazing in that.
Yeah,
I like Skarsgård.
he plays.
Yeah, Nosferatu was
Nosferatu.
crazy.
Oh, it's,
I'll check it out.
yeah, you should.
All right, $8.5 million budget, $50 million box office, which
Yeah.
is surprising. That's a hit, man.
That's a huge hit.
Yeah, that's-
8.5 budget with Jake Gyllenhaal.
And I'm sorry, how much was the
2013?
box office again?
50.3
Yeah.
million.
And on an
I wonder
8.5
what
budget.
Jake got for this. What, $3 million? Did he get participation points? I mean, it's
He
like-
must have gotten. I'm pretty sure he had a producer credit. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
he got
just-
a producer credit, so he must have gotten some cut of the
yeah,
of the back
it's
end.
low. I mean,
Yeah.
But again,
He
that's what Gyllenhaal does, baby.
I'd peg him at like 1.5 plus maybe 10%. Yeah.
What do you think Roger Ebert would have given this?
What he would have given or what he did
He
give?
was dead. Is he alive?
He gave it 4 out of 4
Oh!
stars. Yeah.
I didn't even look. I figured he was dead.
I
I was going to say 4.
It wasn't on the Wikipedia. I actually had to Google to find it. But
What did he
yeah.
say? What did he say
said,
about it,
quote,
sorry?
"This is a classic film, not just because every scene and line is casually beautiful and devoid of extraneous touches, but because its tone is mercilessly exact."
And
Which is a lot of words to say, this is a damn good movie.
Yeah, right. I was about to say, right, exactly.
I was going to guess 4 and not just with my heart, with my head.
Yeah, 4 out of 4.
We all give it 4, right? And if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know
Fact.
why you're watching this, but unless you're like my dad or something. Hey, what's up, Dad?
Hey, Dad.
It's a great movie. So let's get to the categories, huh?
Brass tacks.
Best scene. I'm going to start with Ray. What do you got?
Before we begin, I think we should mention that this was directed by Dan Gilroy, and this was his
His-
directorial debut.
And he wrote it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like what a debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
He's done some phenomenal stuff since then, but
He was really into the idea of LA and the Stringers and just I don't know how I was reading about this. I don't know how he put the two together. He was like, what would that movie look like? And like, let's get into the underworld of how crazy this whole, because it is crazy.
Oh yeah.
it's a whole
Of
culture
just-
that we don't
We
don't
just
know
take it for
anything
granted,
about. Yeah.
right? Like,
I mean, I literally never really knew about this until I saw this movie and I looked into
we
it.
We don't get this kind of sensationalist news in the Midwest.
Correct.
That they get on the coast.
Oh, 100%.
Especially on the
New
West
York,
Coast.
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, because we have snow times and just I mean, like there's just slower times. Like obviously the summer it's pretty
Right.
nonstop,
And
but
when
there's some
when
it's
we
like
get
it's
a
always
single shooting.
it's
It's like major news.
Right.
Right, and we get a single shooting in the suburbs. It dominates the news
Oh,
cycle.
100%, yes.
Whereas in LA, it's like there was a shooting that's 90 seconds, and then there's a
No,
hit
there's-
and run, then there was a fire, then there was
yes, right, and like
well,
and like
Renee Russo's character says it best, right? When she's like, minorities don't play.
Mhm.
We want, like, and poverty doesn't play. We want middle to upper class crimes.
preferably white. That's
Yes.
not me saying.
Yeah, that's
not-
literally
don't take that
verbatim
out of
what that
context.
movie- yeah.
That's from the movie.
Right.
verbatim
Like,
for the
even
movie.
better. Like, we want like the shock, right? And it's urban crime
Shock
leading
sells.
into the suburbs.
well, and considering that these guys, Riz and Jake, ran with Nightcrawlers in L.A. to get into the mindset of this movie, I would be pretty positive that unfortunately that's the way that these news are. People think is that like, oh, unfortunately there was a minority with this. I don't really, I care, but it's not going to do news. I care more about that, and it's that's another thing with the theme of this movie is that it does bring the sad reality of where media and all that stuff comes into play and what they care about and what sells. You know what I mean? And it's.
What do you got for your best scene, right?
I would say that a combination of the best for me. I think the best scene would be like when when Lou responds to the shooting and gets there before the police, gets that whole thing, and then goes to it with to Nina, and then them watching it. And the guy saying like we can't run this blah 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 like no, we're running it. I mean like that's I know it's technically two different scenes, but it's back to back scenes.
Right.
So like just together like the suspense of the whole shooting and the reality. I mean it seems so real because the gunshots. It seems they're so loud. And because when I was watching this movie, I mean I had myself turned up and it was loud. It seemed so pretty like you were almost there type deal. And then just with it getting sort of like the behind the scenes of like the news media of like having such a dramatic thing even before the police are reporting it, until like the decisions, it was just very interesting and dramatic and exciting, so like that's definitely probably it's not one scene, but it's the back-to-back scenes of just that whole sequence was great.
I really love the scene of Joe Loader attempting. That's Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton. Yep.
Attempting to recruit Lewis outside the station.
So great.
Because it's Joe's so arrogant, and Lewis has got no time for him, but he still gives him the politeness of not telling him to fuck off, but yet he does tell him to F off at the end there. So it's a great scene.
And just the leading up to the whole, at the first scene.
The montage.
Are you guys hiring? Fuck no.
Yeah.
And then just like...
I want you to be my second.
If you knew what I was offering, you'd be S in my D. It's like, yeah, right, exactly.
I also think Rick's job interview in the diner is a really great scene.
That's a phenomenal
it's
scene.
Set up so well where Lewis attempts to be this high-level hiring, owner.
I run a successful news business.
But and Riz Ahmed does a phenomenal job.
Yes.
I don't want to overshadow what he did.
Rick is really, really good in this movie.
As a British actor playing a transient L.A.
homeless guy, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I'm with you. My top one is Lewis filming the murder scene. It's so tense. The music is hopeful and inspirational. It's such a contrast to the dearth and the death and the actual macabre of the scene, and it pulls you in emotionally.
Well, it's crazy too because I did read that supposedly the score was based on in his head, even though there was horror going on in this shooting scene. And when he's staging the first killing car crash with the killed guy, and he's dragging the body, the music during those scenes, it's even though there was horror going on, it's very excitable music, and it's not uplifting necessarily, but it's just more excitable instead of downtrodden because of the situation. It's not in the situation of the victims and of the actual scene. It's of him and the opportunity that he's about to walk into, that it just blows it into for him, that he's realizing this is about to blow me into the stratosphere of my career. This is my white whale type deal.
The music is so disconnected from what's actually happening.
That's what, it's unbelievable. And it's great though. Like
it's positive, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I would say, but it's optimistic.
It's not uplifting. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't uplifting, but optimistic is a good word. Yes.
The tone of the movie and what we're watching is not optimistic at all.
No, it's horror. Like I said, horror is going on.
Freaking death.
Horror house, as
right?
if they will.
Literally, but it's so like just in the very beginning scene and in the end scene, it's so like, all right, we're going places. All right, we're good. Like everything's gonna be fine, and that's in his head. Exactly, it's in his head.
Even when Rick dies,
right?
Like that music still sort of comes up. Like
he died doing what he loved. Yeah.
Okay. Like
the guy was homeless.
Yeah.
Man.
Did he?
Dude.
Did he? He's getting paid $75 a night.
When I first when I first
Sure,
watched
we got
this
that money.
again for the first time for the podcast, and like watching that scene, it just came back to me when I first watched it again. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is just so horrible. Like you feel so bad for Rick. He's just literally he goes from like, I just need a job, like I can't do an internship, to $30 a day.
It was cast up.
That's fair. That's fair.
I had
Yeah.
a couple. I love the opening scene. Just
Yep.
from the stealing the fence to the negotiation, selling the fence,
Mm-hmm.
which really sets the table of just. You made a point. We were talking off camera about how I was saying he's very intelligent. You were saying he wasn't, but he's very good at memorizing, and like he's a chameleon, and he's kind of just taking what he's read. What the employer would want to hear, and to fast
I'm a motivated individual with high goals, and
every single situation between the contractor
that's why
and the pawn shop.
I don't necessarily think he's a really intelligent individual. He's very good about
he learns
portraying what it is to be a driven.
He learns quick, like he says. He's a quick
there's
learner.
A very important part of that part when he's selling the fence, and he says, "I'll take an internship," and the guy's like, "I'm not hiring a fucking thief."
Yes.
And he smiles at him. He points at him. And he takes that into the job interview with Rick.
Yes.
Exactly.
And he realizes that he's like, I didn't get the job, but I learned a very valuable lesson from trying to get this job, right? And what employers do and how they act. And he was happy about it almost. He did make his sale under what he wanted,
Right.
the price he wanted, but he learned, and that's what this guy does. Coyote, bro. He learns how to survive.
Right.
And he transferred that into the job interview with Rick, and he ended up getting Rick at literally peanuts.
Yes.
But I don't think that makes him smart necessarily.
Well, whatever, but he's a survivor.
No, and there is a heavy quality that you should give credit to when you're able to survive on such odds that are totally against you. You know what I mean?
Cutthroat environment.
That's what I'm saying. Like he literally starts. I mean, literally, like that first scene when he's next to the guy when they get kicked out because he gets too close, and he's filming with his little shitty camera, and he looks over to the Bill Paxton's guy, and he's just like I got a long ways to go, you know what I mean? But like that's why he starts taking those risks, because he realizes I have the worst quality, but if I get the shot that's better, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get the sale.
I had the job interview as well, and also filming Bill Paxton when the stringers die, and essentially he's the one that totally just sabotaged their van.
That's not essentially. He literally, yes.
No, real quick.
Very dark.
No, real quick. That's another hanger. Does he die?
I think he dies.
I think he dies as well.
Yeah.
And real quick, to add just another great best scene, the cop chase at the end. That is such an epic just
That's
shot
really well shot,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Had, the triple murder. I like the second part more actually. Is selling the tape.
Yes.
And his speech to Nina about
Right.
These are the things I want, and when I say this is my lowest price, you can you can bank on the fact that I came to this number without just blowing smoke. I can't.
Now can we say for us, what we were talking about earlier off camera about the roller coaster of the movie, is that like the tipping point where he knows and or thinks he has the total power, which he technically does. Exactly.
I think he has the power.
He does.
He has the power when he has a dinner with Nina.
Yes, that's
And
the
this
definite
is
turning.
What, I know who you are. You can find almost anything you want on someone on the internet.
Yeah, 2 years at every job. You're coming up next
ending,
month.
Just the whole ending.
Yep.
Not only just the chase, but just the ending of the police interrogation, and then him starting his company.
Yep.
Not to spoil too much, but watch the movie, guys. What's aged the best? I love the script.
Yep.
The
writing.
monologues are just crazy. On the research, it was so long and so crazy, and they decided that they didn't want to cut anything. So Gyllenhaal made his character talk in the cadence that he does, very fast but very concise, to not cut anything, because they didn't want it to be 2 hour, 20-minute movie, because there's so many long monologues, and it's just genius. He gets so much across, and it's literally like reciting lines.
Well, that is the point of it. Lewis, he doesn't talk conversationally. He's not able to empathize and actually have conversations with people as a regular human being. He understands what he needs to do to appear to be a regular human being, and
Correct.
then he writes that down in his head, and he memorizes it, and he recites that, whether that's to the scrapyard owner, or Nina, or Rick, or the police, or whomever. He is just reciting what he thinks it means to be a regular human being.
They've done studies about communication. Whether it be
The number one thing
a
they
school of
found-
fish or a hockey team.
Professional hockey team.
So good. I love seeing Bill Paxton pop up in anything.
Yep.
Terminator.
Not anymore.
Original Terminator, Titanic. Well, he's not popping up. That's rude, dude.
R.I.P.
I just love Bill Paxton, and I love the small roles, and this is a pretty small role, late role. I just get really happy when I see Bill Paxton on screen. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was
Guy's
happy to
only
see
had,
him.
one major leading role in Twister? In his
Helen
career?
Hunt's favorite movie,
One
Twister.
major, blockbuster movie?
Is that it?
Bill Pullman's had his, there's always Pullman versus Paxton, and I was always
The
Paxton
even
guy.
couple?
Yeah, well, Pullman's
Like
not
that
very
Family
good.
Guy skit? The even couple?
The even couple.
And then I'm going to have the last one that aged the best is Rene Russo's performance. Also married to the director, by the way. So she got
Yes.
the
And he said he wrote the part for her.
Man, she is dark.
I mean,
we'll get to
you
that
can-
later, but she is great. She fits that mold. Energy, passion, psycho, great.
Obviously, we talked about it, but Gyllenhaal's acting has aged really well in this. Movies with complicated protagonists, where it's not just a cut and dry, this is a hero. Yeah, those are fine, they're great, whatever. But when you have somebody that the audience can empathize with, where you feel the struggle that they're going through, there's that. Even though he's not a hero, he's not even an anti-hero, right? He's a straight villain.
Well, and
but he's a complicated protagonist. People can understand, especially if you're in his position, the struggle to survive.
Right. And, well, and to piggyback on your thing, I just had Lou's craziness, his just the character itself, not the performance I had as well. Like you said, I had the performance that aged well, because I think they sort of do tie together, because obviously that's why the character's so great. Is that I don't know, just like I said, I mean, I don't know. Can we think of movies lately in the last 5 years that have come out that have had a character like this?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
There's not many movies ever that have been a character like this.
That's sort of what I'm getting at. Is that
Well, and that's my final what age the best is films that serve as character studies.
correct?
Right? Shawshank is a character study.
Yep.
More so than anything else. This is a character study where you've got actually the ability to get the insight. You've got character development.
I would say Joker would probably be one. The last one. I'm just saying, like, where they like
Joker,
the mental healthness of all that. Yeah, the Joker. Yes,
the first Todd Phillips one, not the second one.
Yeah, no. I'm not talking about that. Yeah, the first one.
I didn't see it.
The first one is worth watching.
I didn't see the second one.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna watch the second one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
What'd you guys have for Age Worst? Not much.
Media sensationalism. Clickbait media, like all that kind of stuff. If it bleeds, it leads. Like that, it is what it is. Yeah. And then
the lack of morals.
Like we talked about, like he's a protagonist, but he's not a hero. He's not an anti-hero. He's just straight villain.
But you're rooting for him.
He's a criminal. But
Are you?
Rooting for villainous protagonists, like we shouldn't be rooting for these characters. Like we should be hoping that they get their.
That from the very first scene, they set up how much of a sleazeball he is.
Not just a sleazeball, like a straight criminal.
Possibly killing the cops.
Stealing
the bike.
He's
taking advantage of Rick. Like it's staging and then it just gets progressively crazier.
He's narcissistic.
God knows where it goes from there. Maybe they should do a sequel. I don't know. I don't think I want a sequel, but
yeah. I mean,
do you want a sequel to this movie?
No. I don't. Yeah, no. I mean, I just had the lack of morals in general of the major characters, like just because obviously like that's why I was sort of saying about with the character earlier, like with the we don't, like, to your point, we don't see movies like this much anymore that are new. So it is a shame, unfortunately.
I mean, you take Lewis out of it because he's got a number of personality disorders.
Correct.
You take Rick out of it because the guy is desperate.
Right.
But everybody else in this, Rene Russo's character, right? Frank, the other people in the studio, Joe Loader, like they all have very suspect morals.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Even the cops.
Oh, yeah.
Internet research. I didn't have anything. What do you guys have?
Ray, you got a bunch of stuff. Like,
I mean, so Jake Gyllenhaal, apparently he lost 20 pounds to get that sleek look, because he said when he read the script, he talking with Gailey.
What did they describe Christian Bale's character in The Machinist as? Not sleek.
That would be
Superman.
Skin and bones. No, but just I mean, the like for him, he said he wanted to lose the weight because when he read the script, he sort of felt like the character is sort of like a coyote, like you were saying earlier, like Survivor type deal.
Dan Gilroy, the director, he had a vision of Lewis as a hungry coyote.
Yes,
right, and somebody an animal who's starving to survive. So Gyllenhaal took that to heart. He ate kale salads and chewing gum, running 15 miles per day, and that was his. That's all his idea.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's my point. To your point, when he wrote it, he was writing it for that. But like I said, when he read it, he literally, to your point, he took it straight to heart. And he's like, I'm gonna want to look like he's just like a scrappy, like surviving animal.
Yep.
And
you mentioned it earlier, the smashing of the mirror, and that was improvised by Jake Gyllenhaal. But what happened with his hand there?
Yeah, I mean, 46 stitches. I mean,
so if you watch the scene, Jake Gyllenhaal, he gets in character. He's angry about not providing the content that Nina wanted for Sweeps Week, so he smashes the mirror. It was Gyllenhaal improvising, and he ended up getting driven to the hospital after filming by the director, by Gilroy. 4-hour surgery, 46 stitches in his hand, and then he came back to work 6 hours later.
Yeah, and then that's why when in that opening scene with the contractor, when he walks into into his office, one of his hands is behind his back because it was not shot in order, and that's when he had his hand all messed up. I mean, and honestly, after I read that and then I watched it again, when he does that scene, I don't know when he broke. I mean, it had to have been the second time he hit it, but he turns around. I mean, admittedly, the scene sort of cuts pretty quickly, but he's still like, when he hit it, it had to have cut then, but he's still in character, turns around to like, instead of just like freaking out, he like continues the scene. And again, it ends maybe a second or two later.
That's adrenaline. That's
correct. That's exactly.
Last one I have is the cinematographer Robert Elswit is Jake Gyllenhaal's godfather. It's inconsequential. It's just a fun little fact.
I'm cutting that out.
I was gonna say I also had that Gyllenhaal. He memorized the entire movie like a play, in which honestly this makes a lot of sense since we were just talking about the movie is shot with 3 different acts. Right. Thank you. Sorry. So that it makes so much sense that like he did that going into the movie, and then we watch the movie, and it's like that we can just see that, and then too, like I said, it makes so much sense how Riz and Jake Gyllenhaal were able to be, be so well, at their roles because, like I said, they were going out with Nightcrawlers in LA, and I even read that they were like eating junk food and like basically purposely staying up all night to like get the feel of like what it feels like to truly be in that role.
Yeah, if you watch the DVD extras, they talk about how they went out with a pair of brothers, Nightcrawler brothers, Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed, and Dan Gilroy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Tony Gilroy, his brother.
His brother, yeah, he's a producer, I believe.
All right, casting what ifs. 75 actors auditioned for Rick.
Saw that.
Dude, I couldn't find.
Gyllenhaal was always
I couldn't
Gilroy's
find.
first choice is Lou.
Yeah.
And then Gilroy specifically wrote the role of Nina for his wife Renee Russo, and
That's
I
correct.
had those all on my.
Yeah.
screen.
Did you? Oh, that's fun.
But were there any of these 75 names were any like findable or was it just
What's interesting about the 75?
Because I'm saying I tried to do research, I couldn't find
Riz
anything
Ahmed
on this.
was visiting in LA when his friend told him that they were looking for a part, and that because he's British,
Right.
Yeah, so
and that's why you brought that up earlier. Why he's so good at this?
Yes, so he was not top, but he ended up getting called back, and that's how he got the role.
Well, I did read too that I think when Gailey when he read or I'm saying when he watched his tape, his audition tape, like he was like into him within like a minute or two of it. He was sold on the guy.
That's awesome. Recasting?
I don't got anything. What do you got?
All right, Ray, you got?
Well, yeah, like I said, I think for recasting, like I said, for Lou, like I said earlier, like Bill Skarsgård, I think that'd be interesting.
I think it'd be good.
Like I said, and I think like Christian Bale age of like American Psycho and just sort of the way like he plays it in that, like that, what I mean? I can sort of see like he'd be able to pull this type of, it'd be different, but in the same realm of his Bates character. And then I also had another one I had for Rick would be Evan Peters. I think that he'd be able to do a pretty decent.
Quicksilver?
Well, I was thinking more from the because
that's Evan Peters, right?
Yeah. But I was thinking from his performance when he did Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh yeah.
Just like I'm saying, so in a way you bring both of those together, even though Quicksilver is like
and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Running around San Francisco, murdering people so bad. All right, so for Lewis, I got Robert Pattinson. Okay. For Nina, I went with Marissa Tomei.
Oh, I had her too.
Yeah. For Rick, I went with Dev Patel.
Okay.
He's the guy in Monkey Man.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I went with Owen Wilson. For Frank, he's the producer in the studio. I went with Michael Shannon, and then Detective Fontanari, I went Viola Davis.
The hell? Ooh, I like that. But why are you recasting Detective Fontanari?
Because he goes deep, bro.
She's one of 6 people in this movie that actually have lines.
I was gonna say real quick for Nina, I'm almost done with Sons of Anarchy. I'm in the last 5 episodes of the series, and I would say Kathy Sagal. I think she'd be able to do Nina pretty good. Because her character Gemma, I'm sorry, in Sons is one of the most diabolical characters.
She plays Leela in
exactly, and in Married with Children.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm just saying her in Sons, that Gemma character.
She's also John Locke's wife and girlfriend in Lost.
Oh, that's right.
Never watched Lost.
And then
Story.
Really interesting.
Tell them to watch Lost.
Watch Lost. Yeah. And then real quick,
Best shows in the history of TV.
Joe, I had Philip Seymour Hoffman because I was sort of thinking like a more diabolical twister version
I hate
of
to be
him.
the man to break this to you, but he
was dead. Oh, I understand.
What?
Hey, Philip Seymour Hoffman, he died.
Yeah, but not in 2014.
I understand.
You've done it.
I know, but I'm just
Watch Lost. Story.
Yeah.
Tell them.
Yeah. What? Watch Lost.
It's amazing. At least the first 3 seasons.
You'll get lost.
The first 3 seasons. Weak Link. I didn't have anything because this movie's perfect.
Pretty good. I went Frank.
I went with
Kevin Rom.
the detective. I don't know. She just didn't do much for me. I mean, she wasn't bad, but just like as to your point, you were talking about like of the main characters. I was like, I guess the one who wasn't in there as much.
Because Riz Ahmed does a great job. Renee Russo does a great job.
Yep.
Jake Gyllenhaal does a great job. Bill Paxton does a great job.
Yeah.
That core 4, there's not a really bad link in there.
Nope.
All right, I got some great nitpicks. You ready for these?
Yep.
Lou. So he in the job interview, he's saying he has a successful news gathering service.
News like media,
right?
Yeah, whatever.
And he lost an employee and blah blah blah. And he offers internships, and it's not out of the ordinary for me to offer
Full-time
jobs by interns. So he's trying to act like he's had this job forever. He has a beater ass car.
That should have been his.
No other employees, and he's clearly new to the game. And either way, this dude takes $30 a night. 30. Now it's cash, so it's like $40 a night.
So 2014. How far is that still bringing you?
And what kind of hours are they working? Because it seems like they're working 6 days a week, right?
If not 7.
Probably like 8 p.m. till 4 a.m., something like that.
If not even still. 6. No, the
like-
shooting happened at 5 a.m. So 6 a.m. I would say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
So
probably
8
like
to
10
6.
to 6.
Yeah,
10 to 6.
10 to 6, yeah.
So what is that? 10 hours a day?
Yeah.
So 60 hours a week I had written down here. Okay, that's $3 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Cash, mind you, so $4 an hour. Minimum wage in LA was $9 per hour in 2014. So why, I looked this up, thank you, I do really good work. Why did he not just get a job at like McDonald's? I'm just saying, I know there's freedom of like riding a car, but like it's actually dangerous.
Well, and he clearly wasn't
like a psycho.
that bad of a homeless guy. Like,
No,
you know what I mean?
he's living in a garage.
Right, he just wanted to get a job. So it's like, to your point, why just go
that's a
flip
nitpick,
burgers?
Man. Why take this job?
Got him killed.
It's tough to like nitpick somebody's motivations. Like, we don't know what Rick's situation is. Like, how desperate
you saw
he is.
how much he loved Bed Bath and Beyond.
Dude,
right?
he was so into that.
So get a job at fucking Bed Bath and Beyond.
By the way,
$9 an hour.
that was another internet thing that I read, that in the movie he says it wrong, and they read.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah, right, and so they told him that he said it wrong. They redid it a couple times, and it just didn't. It wasn't as good. So they left the first take.
Wouldn't Lou be arrested for entering his homes?
Dude, I literally was thinking that the entire time when I'm rewatching this movie. I'm like when the cops are going to him, it's like, yeah, you're entering a crime scene before the police. Like,
contaminated the scene.
Yes.
And then the big one was after the triple shooting in Granada Hills. He's driving out, speeding out. The cops are passing him. They're not pulling him over. There's like 5 cop cars. One of them fucking stops the guy speeding out of the crime scene.
Red car, mind you.
There you go. Definitely something there. At the job interview scene, where he's interviewing Rick, he only has water. He's not eating. The waitress never comes up to ask Rick if he wants anything. You're not allowed to sit there and drink water at restaurants, okay? And also, that's shitty service.
Well, it could have been that she just came by and
Maybe
I'm
a
waiting
really
for somebody.
bad diner, like.
But they're not just going to serve you water, and because
No.
Rick said he was late.
No, just listen.
Lou's early. Lou's always early, right? You know this guy. He might have been sitting there 40 minutes drinking water. Get the hell out of my restaurant, bruh. But
it looked like
an
an IHOP looking thing. Like, it probably needed the business. Probably needed the
There's no
business.
business. You're not getting any money.
Have you seen Hell or High Water?
Hell yeah,
No.
it's a great movie.
It's a good movie.
There's no business when you're
Oh,
just
I wish
water.
you did see that, because I would love to do a podcast
There's
on that.
diner scene in there that's pretty good.
So what would you want? What?
That just sounded like
What
Jerry.
don't you?
Yeah, no, wait, no. That's
That
what
just sounded
don't you
like Jerry
want?
there. There's
So
no
you either don't
business.
want the green
There's
beans.
no business.
Oh, they don't want
the
the
corn.
yeah. And then how do you want it? He's just like, and I'll cook it. I'll have it medium. Everyone gets it medium rare, or remember rare, or whatever she said. Yeah, dude.
Ice tea for you fellas.
All right, what do you guys have for nitpicks?
I only have one. It's just that Lou steamrolls over everybody. Nobody stands up to Lou at any point. I mean, you could expect that from Rick. I think he's certainly a young man. He's desperate, but Nina just immediately rolls over, literally.
Yeah.
So,
Figuratively and literally.
and I don't think that would happen in real life. I think at some point somebody's going to put, like, Nina's not just going to.
Well, she acted like she was the head boss of the entire station,
Right,
and
you're
that's
talking
not true at
Middle
all.
manager is going to roll over to this guy out of the blue. She's known for 3 weeks.
He was the cash cow.
I guess.
What do you got, Raymond?
How did the killers not notice Lou's car? I mean,
Well, they're just leaving a crime scene. They're not looking around.
no. When he was following them.
Oh, okay, I get that.
I mean, that was just like.
You would be surprised how easy it is to follow somebody.
And to be honest.
I don't have personal experience with that.
Well. No, but I was gonna say, like.
Bro, I've read that.
Oh, he's read that. Oh, no, I was gonna say, but to be honest, just when we drive home tonight, just go ahead and look in your rearview mirror. Can you tell what color car that is? Hell no. So, I don't know. But more importantly, when Rick kept freaking out, like, cause he'd be pulling up like super close to like where they're getting out. You know what I mean?
I guess a better question is, like, how did Lou's alibi to the police actually stand up to scrutiny?
So the last nitpick I have is also when Lou is filming the setup with the police to go get the shooters. these guys, I mean, the cops are responding to a major. I mean, I understand that like Lou doesn't like really like. Oh yeah, I know for sure. Well, I don't know. He does technically say he's like, yeah, these are these guys. My point is they don't go with no backup. I understand backup sort of comes like a couple minutes later, but you would think with such major.
There's 4 cops in there.
Yeah, they don't make a move until the backup comes.
Yeah, they.
Well, that's my point. I don't know. My point is that.
They don't roll in with lights roll because they have to.
No.
I think they may not have taken the call as serious.
That's what I'm. That's more or less.
They still roll 2 squads with 2 guys each.
I know, but no, I think that was more my nitpick is what he said. Is that like they clearly didn't take that seriously, which is understandable because like he lied about it.
Your problem's then with the police, not necessarily with the movie.
Well, it's in the writing, so.
Fuck the police.
Fuck with the police.
Is that all you have?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, best quotes. If you want to win a lottery ticket, you've got to make the money to buy a ticket. Like that one.
Good advice.
One of the darkest quotes in the movie is "He's a sale."
That's on mine for sure. That's
Bill Paxton.
That's cynical.
Being Dad, he's a sale. That's bad.
Cynical, man. So cynical.
When you pursue something, why you pursue something is as important as what you pursue.
I have that.
It's a genius quote, and I like that one. And then this one's kind of lighthearted. A friend is a gift we give ourselves.
So the full quote there is, actually, that's not true because, as you know, Nina, a friend is a gift you give yourself. Mm-hmm. As he's selling himself to her relenting to have sex with him in order for her to keep her job. And that is such a slimy thing.
Oh, but so slimy.
He portrays it as, this is a positive for you. Right. The only other one, because I had both of those, but the only one other that I had was, I feel like grabbing by the ears right now and screaming, I'm not fucking interested. Instead, I'm going to drive home and do some accounting.
I had those on my thing. I didn't read yours, by the way, just so you
know. The back and forth with Lou and Rick, though, about, I'm promoting you to Executive Vice President of Video News. Well, what am I now? You're an assistant. Does it come with a raise? Absolutely. How much? Pick a number. You pick a number. $75 a night. Agreed. What about more? Now we're close to
be so happy.
I could have gotten more, couldn't I have? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Always start higher, Rick. What do you think you could have got?
150.
I was thinking 200.
Yeah, I was thinking probably 150, 200 right.
At some point, Lou's going to push back, but.
Well, you start with like 3 bills, and then if he says
no, that's good advice for anybody. Start higher than you think you can get, right?
Always.
I've made deals where I'm like. They immediately come back and they're like, yeah, we'll do it.
Well, if
you walk in, you're going, they'll never do it.
For a job, it's different because then you won't get the job. He already has the job and has the inside knowledge and inside.
Well, plus he's being a salesman at that point. Like he's saying, you just might as well go with the higher number because what's the worst they'll say? No, and then you can come down. Or if they say yes, then they're like, oh, all right, better, even better. Let's do it.
And the
75 a night, insanity.
He's talking to him. He's telling.
Yeah,
75 a night.
Yeah. He's literally negotiating in his head in that scene. Like
negotiating himself.
Yeah,
you got any other quotes?
Yeah, I like when the detective has him in the room. You filmed him dying, and he just says, "That's my job. That's what I do." I like to think if you're seeing me, you're having the worst day of your life. And he smiles, and she walks out, and he looks up at the camera, and he smiles a little bit again. I mean, that's like, it's so cynical. And why you pursue something is as important as what you pursue. So I mean, it's one of those things that where oh well, I didn't listen. So
listen to me, bitch.
That's fine. Let's move it on. Move it along.
Is that all yet?
Yeah.
Heat check award. Bench player. I have Paxton's other truck employee. Says fuck 4 times in 2 sentences.
He does. He is nonstop telling.
That has to be it, right?
Yeah.
How many bench players? Is there any other nominees?
Nah.
Do you have one?
I mean, I threw Riz Ahmed in there, like as a supporting actor.
I was sort of thinking the same. I didn't have one because, but no, I would agree with you. Yeah, no, because.
Fuck, man.
I guess you could throw in Linda from the studio because she's illegal and she approves the actual airing of the murder.
Right, correct, yeah.
All right, overacting award. I did not have one.
I mean, Paxton to a certain extent.
Okay,
like,
is that what you have?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not, I don't love it, but like forced to choose, I would say Bill Paxton's a little over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same. It's one of those things where it's showing to where Jake Gyllenhaal gets to. Bill Paxton, the way he acts, because I mean, literally, like that's how he gets hooked. Is when he pulls over, he sees the crash. And that's the initial interest. Then when Bill Paxton enters, it's over. I mean, he's totally hooked, and sinker, and it's over.
Not
I mean,
buy all that equipment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, and I take it with a grain of salt because for all I know, that's how Nightcrawlers in LA actually talk to each other. So
yeah, no, I'd be willing to bet that's probably the way
probably
they do.
pretty accurate,
right? Because like I said, since they went out with them, I would be willing to bet they were like, they said the writers had one thing and they're like, nah, they're a little more mean than that. Let's step it up a notch.
One Oscar to give.
Gyllenhaal, yeah.
I'm actually going to make the argument for Russo as a supporting.
Yeah, supporting.
That's fair.
I think that she, and again, I'm not trying to. I did a whole Gyllenhaal thing.
Considering this was the director's wife.
And she's been in a lot of stuff.
And wrote it for her?
She's amazing, right? She's great.
Love Lethal Weapon.
She's great. I think she is one of the darkest. She is almost as bad as Lou.
Oh, yeah.
She's bad. Like,
and she's hungry. She's money hungry.
People should feel bad for her and feel sorry for her, but she should not be given a break. She is
complacent in
complete lack of morals.
So that's my argument, man. Is I think she's great in this movie. I think that she plays the part perfect. I think that without her, Lou isn't as intriguing.
Oh yeah. Well, no, because she's the one who.
Right. Because so my nitpick.
The scene where she gets pissed and then it causes his breakdown.
He's been able to manipulate her.
Fucking promise me.
Right. The manipulation from her, like you said, is unrealistic. Like.
Right. But if we have a character that actually does stand up to Lou, then we don't have the movie. So I get it. Like I get it.
In the first scene where she's like, picture our broadcast as a white screaming girl running down the street, bloody, like that. Those kind of things.
She sees the blood on his shirt.
Right.
Calls him out 3 times on it, but still goes into business, multiple future business transactions.
That's right in the middle, but we're gonna get to that later. One Oscar to give. We already did that one.
Yep.
Scene we would add to the movie. I want 5 more minutes before he starts night crawling. So I love the beginning before he gets the scanner and everything. I want 5 more minutes of just setting up the character, and maybe it's less is more in this case. But I think they could have came up with something really great to kind of build the character up. And then I also wouldn't mind another crazy scene that he tampers with, because there's only one where you see tampers with, like majorly. Give me one more.
Yeah, I went with I don't know, because I feel like this movie is as compact as it needs to be and as lengthy as it needs to be.
Right.
This is one where
4 minutes.
Yeah, this is one I just don't know that you need another scene. We know who he is in the very first scene when he attacks the guard, takes his watch.
Right.
We know that everything about. So I understand what you're saying. For me, I'm like, I don't think I would add a scene in this movie.
Admittedly, I don't know how they'd be able to tie us this scene that I'd say I would like to add into the movie. I mean, I admit it, it basically probably just would be a flashback, but I just would sort of like to see a scene. It could be very quick, but just how he sort of turned into the narcissistic thief. Craziness that I understand to your point.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. The beginning sort of shows that, but I just want a little more.
Gilroy specifically said that he did not want to show any backstory
and that's fair.
to Lewis because he did not want people to empathize with the character.
That's fair.
This is a specific slice of his life where he understand. Like we understand from start to finish, this is a bad guy,
right?
And we're not supposed to try to feel bad. Like we don't necessarily need to see a bad childhood or a traumatic.
Yeah. So to your point, any sympathy towards the character, because like I was saying earlier, when I rewatched this again for the first time for the podcast, it's like when he kills Rick, you're just so heartbroken because Rick is literally the most innocent guy who's just trying to get by minimally by the meaning of it, and when he finally realizes he can take advantage of Lou, and then Lou realizes that's why he's like, all right, you're out, and I'm gonna get you killed, and that's why he said roll down your window, because he was sort of hoping a stray bullet would go hit him or something. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it'd be. I don't know.
I never put that together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just guessing because that was after they had their their hard negotiation of, no, I'm 50-50.
The window being rolled down, you get killed anyway if the window was rolled up, right?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking a lot.
I should ask you earlier. So there's a scene early when he's watching the TV, ironing his shirt, and he laughs at the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho moment, dude.
No, is that a real laugh?
No, that is
him trying to.
I think that's specifically
normal...
him. That's a canned laughter as part of a sitcom. I think that's specifically him emulating the laugh that he thinks people.
Yes,
how people laugh.
Like you talked about earlier, him just emulating
people in his apartment.
Emulating, no, like he said, emulating what he sees.
It also goes back. You go back to the scenes of him watering his plant. It's very ritualistic, and he's only doing that because he is emulating how people should behave. People take care of plants, thus he is going to take care of his plants.
You know what's interesting about the plant is that when they originally were writing the movie, they wanted the plant to be a dog. But then they realized that having a dog just got too much in the way and clearly we're all thankful for that. Because not to say
cat.
Right, I mean, and again, not to say
feeding a cat is different than feeding a dog.
No, 100%. And again, not to say like if they would say it was a dog instead of a plant.
Let a dog out too.
But I'm just saying, if they were to add a dog, I'm not going to say it would have ruined the movie, but I just think it would made it more to what the character is of his psychoness. That it's just like
he would eat the dog.
No, ruin the movie.
Dennis, you're eating Dennis.
We're eating Dennis. You had to go there.
I did. Pee break scene. None of us have any, right?
Mine is just a Mexican restaurant.
No, that's an amazing scene. Get the hell out of here.
Here's my. If you've seen these pods, you know that most of my pee break scenes are because I find them to be boring and drag. This one is not that. It's very compelling. For me, this would be the only one because it's so uncomfortable. Like he is strong.
Erica said that was the obvious pee break scene.
It's not obvious, but I'm saying I can see where you're coming from.
It's one of the most important scenes.
Exactly. No, that's where I came from on that.
And pee break scenes to me are like you've seen the movie. Like I know what's happening, and it's just such an uncomfortable conversation.
I guess. Oh, okay. I guess honestly, I sort of took a pee break scene as if they always saw the movie and they watched it and they just went.
So
and got
for me, pee break scenes are always like I've seen the movie a bunch of times. Like I know this is where I can get up and go.
Okay.
To
what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I took that as a misconception.
I just love the conversation and just how like he just goes from intense to normal to intense. Like,
well, I'm with you that
I like the way you smell.
Well, no, like the relationship bond develop. It's not even a bond, but just the relationship development is unreal in that scene. Like whether she likes it or not, it's happening because he has her by her metaphorical balls.
Irrelevant actor. I had Kevin Robb.
The Frank.
That's Frank.
Yeah.
I thought he was in Seinfeld. Apparently, he's not in Seinfeld.
So I
had written down here a sweater stretch AA guy in Seinfeld. That's not true.
Him.
Either way, he's still an irrelevant actor. Who do you have?
Jamie McShane. He's the freaked out motorist on the phone during the scene.
Yeah. Get the camera on my face.
He's in SEAL Team. He's in The Strain. He's a bit actor in a bunch of stuff.
That's an irrelevant actor then, buddy.
Yeah. Just going through CSI Vegas, Monk. Star Trek Picard.
So a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, Zombieland, The Passage. Right, like a ton of TV shows.
You proved your point. Sorry. What do you? Yeah, right.
I had Marco.
Gone Girl.
What? He's in Gone Girl?
He's in Gone Girl, yeah.
Who?
He plays Donnelly in Gone Girl.
Who the fuck's Donnelly?
So, Donnelly.
Donnelly.
So this guy, he's the motorist. He's the guy on the phone.
Oh yeah, that guy's in a bunch of stuff.
Who is he in Gone Girl?
Donnelly? I don't know.
Well, yeah, that guy's in a bunch of stuff.
Barely even in there. What do you got, Ray?
I had Marco Rodriguez, who is the foreman in the opening scene.
I feel like I've seen him.
No, that's my point. I've seen that guy in plenty of things, and I'm going through his stuff. He's been in a bunch of things. It's just that, like, he's just a guy. He's a side character.
The dad?
No, he's not the dad.
Yeah, he's not in the movie at all.
He's in the.
He's not in the movie at all. You lying son of a bitch.
Oh, here he is. He's in.
Here he is. Prove you wrong.
Donnelly Gone Girl. Here you go. Oh, he's one of the techs, like going through the house.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm saying if you guys know what I'm talking about, like I said, I've seen that guy's face, and again, he's never been starring in anything, but he's just in a bunch of different stuff.
Hottest take? Do you guys have one?
Hottest take? It's a criminally underrated movie, no doubt. I mean, it's not a hot take. I think it's a pretty normal take.
Like
but.
it goes against the message of the movie, but I really hate the ending where Rick dies and Lewis gets everything that he wants.
No, that's a great.
I understand it, like, but viscerally, it bothers me.
Oh.
Like,
Well, yeah.
that's my hot take. Not that the ending is bad. I think the ending is
It's just that the fact that the
amazing.
villain wins.
Yeah,
and
the
just-
villain. Like, I hate movies where villains.
He's not a
win.
villain. What do you have?
He's a villain.
Oh, yeah.
he's 100% a villain.
He's not a villain
Oh,
yet.
He's mentally ill.
Oh, he's a
He's
villain.
mentally ill.
What do you have,
That doesn't
Ray? What
excuse
do you have,
villainous
Ray?
behavior.
That's. I mean, if that's yeah. I mean, he's how you can sit there and say he's not a villain. Like the
just
movie.
being a
That's
moron.
I understand
He's a
that.
villain.
That's
I
why.
read, like, 11
That's why
pages.
this movie is so well
My tolerance is
written.
low.
I'm sitting.
Unanswerable questions. This is a good one. How many people has he killed? Lou.
Yes, that's on
How
mine as
many?
well. I would say at
Beforehand.
least.
Indirectly or directly?
No, like before the movie takes
I don't.
place.
So I don't think
Oh.
he has. I don't think he's actually killed anybody.
I would say I would think one. I think one. I think he had some bloodlust before in the past.
I know. I don't. I think you're looking at a guy who has, like I said, a number of personality disorders, but he's not a killer.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm almost in the camp that he killed that security guard in
Yes,
the beginning.
100%.
I don't think so.
It's-
He definitely did.
Yeah, that,
He's a survivor. Survivors.
Bro, he would have seen his face then.
Survivors. But like an assault and battery.
especially on how popular
an
he
assault
was.
battery charge is a lot different than getting pegged.
But
for
that guy
murder
would have
one.
seen his face on TV because he got famous.
It was dark, but okay. Does Nina know that Lou is manipulating these crime scenes?
Yes.
Yes, 1,000%.
I think so.
I know the blood and everything, but like,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
by the end she does. I don't think it right away, but she's definitely.
I think that blood scene is like the final, like not the final, but like she's like, oh, and then like as it gets darker and darker, expect you know what I mean. Then she's like, oh yeah, he's.
Has Lou ever had a real job? Like, how it went down?
No.
like 6 months to a year.
Yeah, that's holding it down.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, I would say that's not holding.
I think
a job.
he's able to emulate.
Rick can only do a month at a time.
All right, that's
He only
fair.
had
All
hay
right.
fever and
That's
he quit.
yeah, that is a funny thing. you
found
said.
out
that I had.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I was in landscaping and I found out I had hay fever, so I quit.
Okay, and then
That's
I mean, that
that's a
also
good
it
line.
goes back to something you said about why wouldn't Rick just take a job somewhere? Like Rick clearly he's not motivated. He had hay fever, so he quit working landscaping. Like the
Week
guy,
here and there,
like
yeah.
he can't hold a job down. And I don't want to, like, I'm sympathetic to the character, but obviously he's not all the way there.
all right, last one. Would he have paid Rick if he didn't die? The 50 grand, right?
No.
Nope.
Not even a shot.
Nope.
He would have made sure he got killed somewhere or another.
I don't think he would have made sure he got killed, but there's no like,
I do.
contractual basis. Lou
It's a
is
verbal contract.
who's going to enforce that?
But then he loses his employee.
Right. We see how
As
easy
it
it is for
clearly
employees
doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
when he's got that. So I don't think there's
Yeah,
any
no, he
shot.
doesn't pay it on no shot. Shot or no
My
shot,
questions
no
are,
shot.
How does Lou get very quickly access to crime scenes after having no reputation and no experience, minimal camera crew? Like he just kind of waltzes in there and yeah, he faces a few police that are like, all right, back off, but within 3 scenes he's got
Well, realistically, if we were to go to a major crash scene, us three right now, like and go with our camera, those cops would be like, as soon as we even try to walk close to it, get away!
as soon as you get out of your
That's
car.
exactly a random just car is like
Maybe it's different in LA.
I can't
Also,
maybe.
How does Lou not face any legal or professional repercussions
Crazy.
from all the crime scene interactions, the obstruction, the traipsing through, the all that evidence?
No lawyer. On top of it all.
Yeah, that's weird. And then I think you guys are dead set on it, but I want to know what happened to Joe Loader. Like, is he
Yeah.
dead or is he
He's
just?
dead.
Yeah, I mean,
That actually was awful.
I would just think that
Joe
like,
Loader doesn't wear seatbelts, all right?
well,
You know what? Joe Loader's character is the kind of guy who would not wear a seatbelt.
No.
yeah, no doubt, no.
He fucks up
Well,
his law,
and
dude.
I mean, let's be real. The way they depict him of going like the last shot. Ooh, was that a frog? That last shot of Bill Paxton going into the ambulance and like he can't. He wants to say something, but he's so messed up. He can't even like he's so blood filled up. Like he can't even do it. So I
that
think.
image, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
Jake
they're.
staring at him is probably the darkest
Well,
thing.
well, to be honest, if he lived, I don't think Jake or Lou would have became at the end what he
You
became.
can't prove.
No,
He's driving a car again, man. You guys.
No, okay.
That's-
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, no, right. He ain't getting up and running out like in that scene.
Broccoli driving a van. Come on, man.
Fact, he ain't going
What
nowhere.
memorabilia do you want from this film? I'm cheating saying the car because it's cheating because of course I want a car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same
cheating.
thing. I
want the car.
want both cars.
I want the original radio scanner that he had,
Ooh.
and then I want his Clubmaster Ray-Bans because those are
I have
sexy.
that as well.
I want Lou Bloom's brain.
like preserved in a jar.
No, I want it in my head.
Oh,
Let's go, dude.
I thought you meant you
I want
wanted
to
his
start a
brain.
successful news news video.
media distribution
I want
company.
that. That's how it should be read. That's how it should be said.
Well, then maybe a more realistic memorabilia would be for us to get the plant and we just start
I
watering
can
it
tell it's
daily.
Friday because of the tie.
Right?
Yeah. That's another just total like narcissistic crazy guy thing of his, man. That was great.
But they eat it up.
Dude, they love it.
Who peaked? I don't
Renee
think it was
Russo?
anyone.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal. I think this was.
No.
Well, no. When I say peaked, I guess just like.
It's just
I mean,
I think
I'm more-
Renee Russo.
yeah.
no,
Okay.
she's in the bigger shit. I'm sure.
Well, she was in big stuff in the late '90s,
Yeah,
and this is 15 years later. But
that's her peak. The 90s.
you can have two peaks, right? '90s.
She has two peaks.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Hey-oh.
I know. I guess the reason I put Gyllenhaal is that this was his peak at the time. Like that was his best of performance. What was better?
Best performance isn't peak though.
I understand.
Peak-
I understand the peak is the
wow.
peak is the
I don't
peak.
think
Right,
this
peak
is,
of his powers.
I don't think this is
It could
close
be anything, right? I don't
to the
know.
best performance we're gonna get out of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, no,
Obviously,
like you guys said,
peak
what,
for,
he's 42. Like we have a long ways to go with
News,
him.
entertainment movies, things like that.
There's a reason Jake Gyllenhaal isn't in 3 movies a year. Like the guy is
Loves his art.
understanding, like picking and choosing the movies that he wants to be in.
All right, who won the movie?
Lewis, I guess. Unfortunately,
He did win. I
Yep.
was going to say
Lewis.
Gyllenhaal,
That was a Jake
but-
Gyllenhaal.
yeah, Lewis
Yeah,
and Jake
Lewis
Gyllenhaal.
won. We won again, same as the Starship one. We won. There's a lot of
We
trains
got
going
this
on.
performance. This movie, it's
It's great. The movie's great.
Yeah.
Last words?
I mean,
Say?
like I said, it's one of the most like great thriller individual depictions of a character. Like I said from the very beginning, that's what draws me to this movie over and over again. But I mean, there are many great other elements like we've talked about throughout this podcast. It's just like I'm with you guys. Maybe if it's more than halfway through, I'm not going to watch it. But if it's a third in, I'm still going to watch the whole thing.
seriously.
From there.
If you haven't seen this movie and you're still here as part of this podcast / video,
figure it out.
Go to your library and borrow it because it is worth the 2-hour watch. I guarantee you that.
And I think it's on Stars as well right now. If you got
Who
streaming.
the fuck has stars? It's amazing.
Not
These
you.
guys are amazing. Big Ray, Mike Story. Let's go.